And what's going on, guys, Alex here, and right now let's have a look at the most underestimated iPad right now on the market, the iPad mini. During the period of high hertz screens of 90 to 120 and 144 to up to 300 hertz, the iPad mini screen of 60 hertz seems like a nonsense. But I can tell you that it's pretty okay to use. Of course, you can notice some latency, you can notice the animations that they are being slow, but the thing is that there are much more advantages to this iPad than you can think of besides the screen refresh rate. First of all, this iPad has Liquid Retina display, which essentially is IPS display with quality of more than 1080p, and also at the same time it has pretty good color gamut of wide color range of P3 color gamut, and to be honest, it's very good for everyday usage. So this iPad, essentially, it is made not for home usage more, it's made for you to take it with you. Why it is so? So first of all, because of its size. As you may know, I have used the Samsung Galaxy Fold 3 for quite some time, and I got used to having both my phone and my tablet with me for all of the time. So right now, when I have transferred to an iPhone, right now I need to have a tablet to carry with me for all of the time for the same tasks which I was using Galaxy Fold, the bigger display. So essentially reading, watching videos, and other stuff like drawing, taking notes, and so on. So quick notes, but not conspecting in no case. So here we can have the Apple Pencil 2nd generation, which connects to the iPad magnetically, and so it is much more convenient than it is, for example, for the Galaxy Fold 3, 4 and 5, where you have to store your pencil in some sort of case and you cannot connect it magnetically to the phone. But of course it is the phone, but it is the iPad, and to be honest, the Apple Pencil support is the thing which makes this iPad pretty great. Of course, if you're talking about some high-end drawing, this will not be an option because of the 60 Hz screen, but if we're talking about quick notes, if we're talking about quick sketches and everything else, in that case, this iPad is simply incredible. Of course, you cannot do some decent note-taking on this iPad because I would recommend you to have at least the usual iPad or the iPad Pro 11 inches at least, because 11 inches will be approximately enough for you to have a pretty decent space in order not to move the content all of the time. But if we're talking about the content consumption device, the iPad mini is simply made for it. You can read the book from Kindle, you can watch the videos on YouTube on a bigger screen, you can, of course, you can note-take, you can read lots of articles. The Twitter here, or X right now, it looks pretty decent on this device, and so you can... Да, блять, вы охуели. And so you can get the iPad mini with 5G version, and so this iPad transfers for almost to the phone, because you can watch videos on Amazon, Netflix, Apple TV+, Hulu, HBO, and everywhere you'd like on this screen, and it will be a pretty decent screen, but also at the same time with only one move of your hand. This iPad with magnetic folio, original magnetic folio, you can simply turn it around, and here you have pretty powerful, pretty sleek iPad which you can carry with you whenever you go. This iPad will get to any bag you'd like, any banana bag, any usual backpack, and so it is very portable. Of course, let's not forget about the power of this iPad, because this iPad has power of A15 Bionic chip, which was placed in iPhones before. So this iPad is pretty powerful, but I would not recommend you to use such applications as DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut on this device, because first of all, the battery will not hold pretty enough, because the thing is that this iPad can hold for almost the whole day if we're talking about reading, if we're talking about watching videos, because of the low refresh rate. But if we're talking about high productivity tasks like, for example, gaming or video editing in DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut, as I said before, in that case the battery will not hold. And of course the problem here is that both DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut has lots of things going on the screen, and in that case, even with Apple Pencil 2nd generation, in that case you will have troubles navigating everything. So if you would like to edit your videos, same as before, iPad 11 inches, iPad Pro 11 inches, or usual iPad is your choice. Of course, if you can make it, iPad 12.9 inches is simply incredible for that purposes, and because it also has M2 processor, which is also very good for such tasks. So let's talk about positive sides about this iPad. First of all, this is very sleek, very portable iPad for you to take it with you whenever you'd like. Of course, it has a very good processor, A15 Bionic. It has very good screen if we're talking not about refresh rate, but if we're talking about color gamut, if we're talking about the screen resolution. In that case, that's simply made for you. Of course, Apple Pencil 2nd generation connectivity, the connectivity of magnetic foil, which transfers your iPad to a simple screen to watch the same videos while you are cooking, while you are commuting somewhere, and so on. And of course, this iPad has Touch ID button, which in my opinion is not too convenient because I have used Face ID, but it's still very good because the Touch ID, it is a very reliant technology which you can rely on, so this is pretty okay. But what about the downsides of this iPad? First of all, as I said before, the 60 Hz of the screen in 2023 is not a lot of the refresh rate right now, because right now all of the phones, almost all of the tablets go with at least 90 Hz. So the 90 Hz in this iPad wouldn't consume much more battery than 60 Hz does, but the smoothest of the animations, the smoothest of the user experience will be pretty good. So talking about the positive sides of the iPad mini, first of all, that would be pretty decent screen. Color gamut P3, more than 1080p display, and also the connectivity of Apple Pencil, it is pretty good. The next thing, of course, Apple Pencil support Apple Pencil 2nd generation, which you can store magnetically near your iPad. That's pretty good. Of course, the iPad, because of its iPad from Apple, it has lots of accessories, and of course, let's not forget the thing that you need only this one iPad, which is pretty similar on the sizes with the Kindle. So you need only this iPad in order to read your books from Kindle, in order to watch your subscription services like Netflix or Amazon Prime. And also, let's not forget that TikToks on such a big screen simply looks amazing because TikTok is optimized for iPad mini. So the most important thing is the portability of this device and the power of A15 Bionic, which is more than enough for everyday usage, but here we go to the downsides. I wouldn't recommend this iPad if you'd like to edit some complex videos in Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve. Because of its battery is more than enough for almost the whole day, but it won't be enough if you would like to edit some videos, and of course, editing on such a small screen is not a good thing. So here we go to the downsides. The downsides is that first of all, if you have Apple Pencil and if you have an iPad, I suppose you would like to do some note-taking. But if we're talking about note-taking, in that case you would have to do drag and drop to move your paper, virtual paper, a lot, and in that case I wouldn't name it pretty decent experience. So if we're talking about short note-taking, like small notes, small sketches, it is okay, but if we're talking about note-taking as it is, as for example it can be used by students, it's not an option, because of course you can do it, but it's really not good. And of course, last but not least is USB Type-C. Because of USB Type-C, first of all, you have a charger of 20 watts right in the box, which is already impressive for the 2023 when we do not have charging bricks in the boxes, but still, in any case, you have USB Type-C for an iPad. That means that you can go, like me, with 64GB version. You can download here lots of books, you can download a couple of episodes, but in the case that you have not enough memory, in that case you can use, first of all, for flash drives with USB Type-C, you can use external SSDs, and you can use, let's say, for example, adapters from micro SD or usual SD card to enter the USB Type-C and to have additional storage. So that's pretty good. And so once again, this iPad is only 60 Hz. So that's maybe a little bit of a deal breaker for lots of you, because in 2023 we got used to high refresh rate screens. So that's why after using your 120 Hz screen on your iPhone, after using 300 Hz screen on your laptop, and after using the same 120 Hz on your iPad Pro, in that case, if you will take the iPad mini, it would need you some time, like approximately half an hour it takes me, in order to adjust my eyes to 60 Hz because the animations look completely different. So, can I recommend this iPad? I suppose this iPad is very underestimated because of its functionality in terms of content consumption. Even Ali Abdaal has called the iPad mini.
So I think if you are going to use the iPad as basically a glorified Kindle or a glorified, I don't know, Netflix machine, then actually the iPad mini is a really solid option.
So in the case if you need only to consume your books, to consume the lots of text, to consume videos, music, this iPad will be pretty good. But if we're talking about listening to high quality lossless music, in that case this iPad will not be your choice because it has 4 speaker grills, but it has only 2 speakers, which sound pretty decent, but it's nothing compared to iPad 12.9 inch. Summarizing everything once again, pretty good screen, pretty good power, it's very good for travel, very portable, and it's very good for consumption. But if we're talking about downsides, it would be sound from the speakers, because the sound is pretty decent, but it's not as good as it would be for the same iPad Pro and the usual iPad as well. And also 60 Hz screen is the thing which you need to get used to, because if you are using your 120 or at least 90 Hz or more screens on a daily basis, in that case 60 Hz will not be your choice, because even while swapping the pages in Kindle application, you can notice a little lag of the 60 Hz display. In any case, thank you for joining in and hope to see you here for the next review.